Why stop now? Why am I doing this? Because I can. Why stop now? Well, first of all, I need to explain about blueberries. Excuse me a moment. Drinking from my favorite water bottle, the erstwhile 400 milliliter Hellman's mayonnaise jar, squirt pack or whatever you might call it. My goodness, I'm gonna smoke another cigarette while my fucking voice box is rattling. I may have a sip. It's 20 after 6, 25 after 6, 20 after PM, of course. I will have a sip. The daily dose is 50 milliliters of scotch, which is 20 milliliters of alcohol. And this, again, is my foundling. Proof of principle, anyway, that pack rats sometimes provide valuable items. This fits perfectly in the shot glass. Without intruding on the 50 milliliter line. In any case, I do want to mention blueberries. I already mentioned blueberries and then didn't explain it, so it made no sense. So I will explain the blueberries. And what else? Oh, I just watched the last 3 videos, all 3 of them twice. And so, in the spirit of overkill, here we are again. Okay, my justification for this one, besides I can, is to fulfill on the promise of the blueberry story. Thing is, with blueberries I've been buying recently, in fact, they're pretty reasonable price, 200 grams for $1.49, which one of my rules of thumb is, if it's more than a penny a gram, it's expensive. So these blueberries were cheap, but large, and of course of every conceivable size, just like you could say the contents of a genome, or the content of a meme. In any case, you know, some are larger than others, and the larger ones are typically sweet and ripe, more so, on average at least, than the smaller ones. And so it is of interest how to go after the biggest, best blueberries before the rest, which may get sugared. The rest, you know, if they're not very sweet, may get sugar on them. But the first, the biggest, are usually good enough to really enjoy without any extra sugar. So how do you get them? How do you select? How does natural selection work in the case of blueberries? Well, you just shake them a bit, and the bigger ones gravitate, so to speak, anti-gravitate, towards the top. Why? Because the littler you are, the greater the chance that you'll fall through a gap that was just created underneath you as you're being shaken up. Ergo, the bigger you are, the less likely you are to fall into a gap that happens to open up underneath you. And so the tendency is, the fact is, the larger ones rise to the top. There's no mind in that. Just as I imagine there is no mind in the process by which animal genes or memes selectively survive and expand in their influence on the totality, so to speak. On the tribe. Like blueberries. It's not a, oh, I like this one better. It's fat blueberries rise to the top. So is evolution apparently, in some sense anyway, of both types. If they're separate, they are somewhat separate, I guess. You could say that the bodily evolution erases all its failures, and the mental evolution may keep copies. Even though they're not reproducing, sometimes copies arise out of the classic past or something and begin to influence what you might call the field of thought, the memosphere, or whatever the hell. In any case, I just wanted to finish the blueberry thing, having become distracted by something. And I enjoyed watching myself. I think if I know I'm going to watch myself on the big screen, then I might do a better job of not watching myself on the little screen. Because whatever comes out is whatever comes out. And I really love the idea of looking in the camera lens as if possible, as if possible, as iffy as possible. Speaking to you. If you want to be romantic, you could even say heart to heart, but maybe a little less romantic is eyeball to eyeball. Oh gosh. Well, I'm curious how this one's going to come out. Oh, it's just hitting on 10 minutes. All right, I'm merciful. 10 minutes is it. Yay, 59.60.